are here at Commonwealth Stadium to cheer on their team. Holding penalty on the return. Eskimos start deep, and Matt Bertrand can't bring in that pass, and we're seeing both offenses stuck in neutral here early.
Well, and the reason for it is like the first time that these two teams played against each other, Ricky Ray, when they're on the field, is getting pressure. This time it's going to come from Maurice Lloyd, eventually the linebacker, number 47, so he doesn't have time to step into throws. It was very similar in the first game that Saskatchewan won. Ray only was sacked once, but they were in his face a bunch.
Never got to set his feet in that game. As you mentioned, one sack, that was from John Chick. 2nd and 10, more pressure, just gets out of the end zone, and he'll be dropped at the 5. Anton McKenzie was hanging on. Ray got back to the line of scrimmage and won, but he was dangerously in that end zone with plenty of heat.
Anton McKenzie is just having a tremendous year. 38 tackles coming into this game. He has a couple of interceptions. He has a sack. He gets pressure here along with Shante Williams up the middle. That was the first pressure. There's Williams trying to pull Ray down, and then here comes Anton McKenzie to help clean up. And this defense gives you so many different looks. They're not always full blitzing. It's just hard to tell who's coming and when they're coming.
So Prefontaine, standing 10 yards deep in his end zone, will in all likelihood concede the first 2 points of the game. Just watching that replay again, Shante Williams has been prominent in his opening couple of series, and Ken Miller told us yesterday that
Edmonton number 7, half the distance to the goal line, remains 3rd down.
Eskimos killing a little of the clock here as they work into the wind in the first quarter before conceding the safety. But Ken Miller was excited about the prospects of a 6'6" end on his defense. A little different look for that Saskatchewan front. So now Prefontaine will scamper in the end zone, try and kill a few more seconds. And finally out under duress. A late block provided as well by Scott Coe on Renault Williams, just to introduce himself to the Saskatchewan-Edmonton rivalry.
Well, that was late, right as Noel Prefontaine was just going to step out of bounds. Scott Coe is going to come in here from the very top of your screen, and he's got his target, Renault Williams. He just hopes he can get it in before.
Was that ever late?
Prefontaine gets out of bounds. Now, Prefontaine was on the track, so Scott Coe is lucky he didn't get a flag there. Nevertheless, that'll be an interesting matchup, because you can bet that Renault Williams and Coe will be against each other on these special teams.
Yes, that'll set a tone.
And Williams will not forget either. You remember those hits, and you just try to keep your discipline so you don't get a penalty, a retaliation type penalty, and then you wait for another special team down the road, and then you try and get your revenge then.
Might not have to wait long, because the Eskimos are going to kick this off, and look who's out on the kick return team. Well, and on the kick cover team.
Yeah, and Renault Williams, he looked down a couple, three. There's his 4th look down the field to try and find where Scott Coe is lined up.
48 and 24. Likely on a collision course sometime tonight.
You can bet that Scott Coe will be the arrow or the hammer going right down to the ball.
Prefontaine to boot it. And Dressler on the run at the 26. Across the 40. And brought down there. So let's see if Marcus Crandall can get Saskatchewan's offense off the mark first.
Well, we talked about Wes Cates and how important he is. And the last game Saskatchewan played in their first loss against Calgary, Calgary Stampeders did a nice job of taking him away early, and Saskatchewan, what they didn't do all year long, they always stuck with him. Even if he was struggling early or not getting those big yards early, they still stuck with him. They didn't 2 weeks ago.
2nd in yards from scrimmage, behind only Avon Coburn of the Alouettes. Takes it off the right side, and Cates with a good run will step out at the 48, and 6 for Wes Cates, who had 86 in the season opener against the Eskimos on the ground.
Well, he's so smooth, and after the bye week, guys like Wes Cates get their, they're able to heal up some of those bumps and bruises. See that nice smooth cut to the outside. I mean, that looked like a real nothing play that he picked up good yards, 6-7 yards on first down. That's why Saskatchewan's been successful on offense. They get good production on first down from number 20.
Needs 64 yards tonight to regain the rushing lead over Coburn in the CFL. 2nd and 4, and he lines up at a receiver position. Montez Murphy, and a crosser to Wes Cates, and Wes Cates is inside the 40 and finally pulled down by that new safety for the Eskimos, Sadiq Shabazz.
Cates lines up here, and this is how versatile he is as a wide receiver. And then they'll waggle him down in motion. Here comes, this is called a waggle. He just waggles down in towards the line of scrimmage, towards his offensive line, then quick crossing route. He gets the angle, the leverage on his cover man, and now he's got the corner. Different ways for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to use Wes Cates. Line him out as a wideout, put him in the back as a tailback.
27 for number 20. That was Kenny Onatolo, who he eluded. First down. Just outside the Eskimo 35. Crandall, quick hitter. Weston Dressler, the seam route, still going. Inside the 10. Dressler, touchdown. Weston Dressler, a 35-yard touchdown. And the Roughriders strike first.
They do, and they go right through the middle. Sadiq Shabazz, the linebacker, is now the new safety, and he lines up right there. Now, as a new safety, he's got his job, and the reason he's back there is to be worried about Wes Cates. He gets a little over to the outside, a little too far to the field. Dressler cuts back against his face, right across his face, and gets into the end zone.
Just made it to the goal line. His 3rd touchdown of the year. Had one in the Roughriders' last game in that frantic 4th quarter when the Roughriders almost came back from 30-4 down.
Time count violation. Saskatchewan number 10. Go back 5 yards and repeat the convert attempt.
And the Roughriders take a time count.
Well, Saskatchewan early in this game, a couple of things. They went after Jordan Younger twice to see how his hamstring was, and now they're going to test out the change that Edmonton has made in their secondary by moving Sadiq Shabazz to safety and Jason Goss to the halfback.
Kanji with the extra point, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders have a 9-point lead. Well, after a sluggish couple of series for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they look very sharp on that possession, and Weston Dressler hooks up with Marcus Crandall. 35-yard touchdown for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and a 9-point lead. Bourne sends it to Tristan Jackson, who lets it bounce into the end zone, and he's just going to concede a single point. So Tristan Jackson with perhaps a mistake.
Saskatchewan offensively going after the changes early in this game for the Edmonton Eskimos on defense. Here comes Dressler 101. Now he's going on Jonte Buell, and as he breaks in, he's going to get a pick help there from Palmer. Now he comes in. Now Sadiq Shabazz, the safety, has got to keep his momentum in the middle. His momentum is taking him this way, and of course Dressler's going the opposite way, and you can see how that gets him in trouble. The key to playing free safety is being patient and staying straight in the middle, and the play will come to you. Sadiq Shabazz overplayed it. He went too far to the outside, and of course Dressler took advantage of that and found the end zone.
Eskimos felt that Shabazz would be able to handle the safety responsibilities of former safety with the Oakland Raiders, as they give Saskatchewan a new look, but the Roughriders expose it. Now Ricky Ray from the 35 to work more pressure. Greg Schwartz drops the ball.
You know, Ricky Ray comes into this game on fire. We mentioned off the top, and he's, in fact, when you look at his projected numbers yardage-wise over the season, he's going to join an elite group. Only 4 quarterbacks in the history of the league have got 6,000 yards in a season. The other 2 were David Archer and Anthony Calvillo, but that he could finish 3rd. In order to do that now, he's going to have to get more protection up front. He has just not been able to set his feet early in this game.
That Eskimo offensive line's done a nice job this year, after the opener, giving him protection. But more heat now, and finally the third option is A.J. Harris trying to lunge for the first down. Looks like he'll be about a yard or two short, depending on the spot.
You just take a look at what Saskatchewan will do. I mean, Saskatchewan, they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, of those 5 up front, who is going to come and who is not? That's what you don't know, right? Maurice Lloyd this time drops out, but it could have been anyone of the 4 or 5 up front. So it's awful tough for the offensive line, and depending on this spot, we'll see how close A.J. Harris got.
About a yard and a half short.
That's too far.
So the third consecutive 2 and out. Uh-oh, for the Eskimos.